On an average day, about a dozen new games are released on Steam. And while we think that's a good thing, it can be understandably hard to keep up with. Potentially exciting gems are sure to be lost in the deluge of new things to play, unless you sort through every single game that's released on Steam. So that's exactly what we've done. This week's first-person horror entry is, you guessed it, set in the creepy halls of a terrible, sprawling house. Comparisons to PT, Visage, and Resident Evil 7 are probably apt, but MADiSON centers around the cruelty of a single demon antagonist who has spent decades forcing the player character to do some pretty terrible stuff. Like another recent horror game, Phobia St. Dinfer Hotel, MADiSON has a camera as its central tool for puzzle solving. And while there are definitely hectic encounters, it looks like you'll spend much more time exploring in MADiSON than you will bludgeoning supernatural phenomena to death. If you simply cannot get enough of horror games set in residential squalor, this is an easy recommendation.
The attic.
Here's a retro-style roguelike that looks like a showpiece for your fancy EGA monitor. Moonphase Pass is described as a roguelike meeple placement game, but it doesn't look a whole lot like a board game. Instead, the turn-based affair has you focusing on resource management so that your lunar crew stands a chance against the Red Moon's many different enemies. It being a roguelite, you can collect moon fragments in your journeys, all the better to unlock permanent upgrades back at base. The roguelike market is swollen to bursting, but Moonphase Pass offers a strange, austere sci-fi mood that feels compelling. Created by Japanese surrealist Tsukuba Tomomi, this bizarre specimen originally released in 1999, but now comes to Steam after decades in the wild. It's a point-and-click adventure with an art style very unlike anything you've ever seen before, but it kinda comes across as H.R. Geiger working on a Fatal Frame offshoot that plays a bit like Bad Mojo. The player character is thrown into an enclosed world filled with sewage, with decaying wooden buildings and rusted metals, so reads the Steam description. And for more on Garage, Jonathan Baldings wrote a bit about it on PC Gamer's website, so be sure to check it out. Another point-and-click adventure, Intruder in Antiquonia, follows Sarah, a young investor who has found herself in a town with no internet. It's not a matter of poor infrastructure either. The locals simply hate the internet, and who can blame them? Sarah's more pressing concern is why she ended up on the outskirts of Antiquonia in the first place, and figuring that out without the aid of Google is what this fairly straightforward adventure is all about. The art style comes across a bit early 2000s phone game, but the premise is really fun. More Japanese surrealism, Yaso Curse of Soiree is a first-person exploration game by the creator of Go Home, which was met with some low-key but enthusiastic acclaim back in 2020. Protagonist Karima Shoka has lost her good luck charm in an unfamiliar Western-style building, so must go back inside to retrieve it. But don't expect that to be a straightforward process. Expect bonkers set pieces, discomforting horror elements, and for absolutely nothing to make sense. And those are the 5 Steam games to keep a lookout for this week. Join us next week for 5 more, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe to PC Gamer's YouTube channel. I've been Maheen Kasoor. See ya!